Now that we have the turret pretty well blocked in, let's take a look at these steps on the side of the vehicle. I kind of like the way these look. We need to create these loops here, I think, on the side, and then the two steps, the support bars here, and, I'm not sure about the chain. That'd be cool. It would add a lot of polys, but something like that always looks pretty cool, though. So we'll wait to make a decision on that. Um, First of all, let's do these little circular pieces here. I'm going to grab the things that we've just created. We're still in local transformation mode, so let's change that to global. And I'll grab these and I'll move them into the vehicle main collection. Now that I've done that, I'm going to once again select the scene collection so that anything new that we create is going to pop out here. And I'm going to hide the vehicle main and the reference images for now, just so we can work on and kind of isolate this here. So to create that, I think I'm going to once again begin with a cylinder. So Shift-A, Mesh, Cylinder. I don't need a cap fill, so I'll choose Nothing. And let's take the sides from 32 down to 12. Let's try that. I'll rotate it around the x-axis with RX90. Let's scale it in the Y, SY. I don't know, about like that, let's say. And I think what let's do now is go ahead and add thickness to it. Well, let me get that down a little bit narrower there. Okay. Now I'll add a solidify modifier here. Let's press Control A and apply the scale. Didn't do us a whole lot of good. Let's increase the thickness about like that maybe. Let's give that a try. And then what we need to do is extrude back to create this piece back here. So to do that, we could select a couple of faces off the back and extrude back. We could do that. So let's go ahead and apply this solidify modifier. I'll click apply. I'll tab into edit mode and hit the 3 key. And then what let's do is let's select these faces here all the way down like this. Well, I don't think we want them that high. We want them like this. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 faces selected here. And now what we want to do is just extrude them back. So I'll hit E and X and pull them straight back. Let's grab these faces here. Press the 1 key to go to the side view, and let's press SZ and scale these up a bit until they're kind of flat on the top and the bottom. That. Then let's select these guys back here, and we'll flatten these out by pressing S and X. And then I'll bring the mouse in. That kind of flattens those up there. Okay. Good. So now we need to extrude out. What let's do is press Control R and insert an edge loop here. I'll click once and then I'll hit the E key, and now I can hit the F key and toggle back and forth between the two. So maybe something like this. I wanted it flat, so about like that. All right. Now if we select these faces here and these faces here, we could extrude and scale out. So what let's do is press E, then S, then Y, and now we can scale straight out on either side like this. Something like that. Okay. Now let's come back here. We're not going to need these back here, are we? So let's just hit the C key and circle select these faces. Let's delete them. There we go. Okay, so now we have that basic shape. Let's smooth it. Object shade smooth. It's not looking great, so object data auto smooth. And maybe if I scroll up just a bit, I can clean that up just a little. That'll work fine, I think. It's going to be pretty small on the vehicle. So now let's select this whole edge with Alt-click all the way around, and let's move the cursor to it, Shift-S2. Now let's move that object origin to the 3D cursor, set origin to the 3D cursor. There we go. Now we can scale it and move it around pretty easily and put it in place. So let's bring the vehicle back. I'll also bring the reference images back. Let's do that. And let's go to the side view, wireframe, and I'll scale it down. And let's put it over here. I think this is it here. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Let me scale it down pretty small. Something like this. There we go. And then maybe I can select these faces on the sides here. Oops, too much. Let's hit B and just select these. B and just select these. And then we can scale them out, S and Y. Kind of pull them out like that. All right, let's see how we're doing. We're pretty far out, but we're, I think, in the right place. Let's just bring it back in the X here. And put it right about there. All right. Yeah, let's try that. Let's go to the wireframe again, and I'll press Shift D and Y, and then move the duplicated object right there. Okay, so now we have those two pieces. Now let's put the actual steps in here. It's really hard to tell exactly what they are on the top. Is it just a block, or is there some sort of a grid pattern? How wide are they? So let's, let me bring in a new image here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's grab that corner again and bring this down. This corner again, bring this down, and I'll switch this back to properties. There we go. And these two images, this one I want to keep like this. And this one, I'd like to try and find something else that would help us figure out how big these are or what they are. There's this. Let's take a look at this. I'll press Control Spacebar, and wow, that really doesn't help us at all. It is pretty clear that these aren't real wide or real deep. They're pretty narrow. So, okay, that tells us that. I'll press Control Spacebar again to get out of that. Let's see if we can find another one. Yeah, that's really not a whole lot of help, is it? How about this one? Not much there either. Okay, so I think we're just going to have to punt and do the best we can with the information we have here. So what let's do is let's go ahead and move the cursor to the center of the grid with Shift S1, and then let's press Shift A and create a cube, and let's scale this down and kind of get it the right size, and then we'll put it in place. So in wireframe here, I'll just move this up to say this top one, and scale it in the Z, S and Z, and get it about that big. Scale it in the Y, and bring that out like this. There we go. And then if we move it, well, we can move it out some. Oh, let's take a look at the top view. Yeah, here we go. We've got a view of it here that we could use. So let's press S and X and scale this in a bit, and then move it to put it in place right about there. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now let's put it down one below that. So let's just grab this one here and then press Shift D, and I'll move it out in the X. Put it right about here. Now let's go to that side view, bring it down, and let's scale it in the Y, S and Y, like that. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so we've got those two steps now. We'll just leave them as cubes or blocks like that for now until we figure out what we want to do with the tops of them. Now let's create these three support bars here. It looks to me like if we go to the front view, or excuse me, the side view, they go from the back of the bottom step, they go up to just below the top step, right into there. So let's just see if we can place something like that with, say, a cylinder. I'll keep it at 12 sides. We don't have a cap fill at all here. That's good. I'll scale this down. And let's see if we can get it in place at least, and then begin angling it the way we need it. So it looks like it's about this thickness like this. Then let's go to the front view. And well, we're not getting a whole lot of information here, are we? Because of the tires in the way. But even so, we could move these over. And I'll go ahead and turn off the reference images for just a minute. And then let's turn it. And let's try and just at least get it in place. So just below that top step would be right around in here. And then maybe what we can do is just turn it a bit like this. Something like that. So let's say that's kind of how we want to place that from this view. If we go to the front view, now let's turn that reference image back on, and now we've got that there. Let's just duplicate these. Shift-D, Y, and bring that over here. Shift-D, Y, and bring that there. All right, let's see how we're doing. Yeah, so I think that's just getting those in place. Now what we need to do is work on these angled support bars here. We've got, it's kind of an L shape. We need to create these, and I think the best way to do that is with that path tool we used to create the handle. So in the next video, let's go ahead and begin working on that.